How do you think Brodie Croft looked today?
Thought he looked like Brodie Croft, but in a better coloured jersey.
Leeds have won back-to-back Rugby League titles. The golden generation finally has its golden fleece. No England game, it seems, is complete without a Ryan Hall try. Jamie Peacock.
Kevin Sinfield.
Rob Burrow.
Jamie Jones Buchanan for Leeds. It's one of the most popular beards in rugby league.
There aren't many in Super League that can do that.
We just want to be a great friend, and if we can all try and be a bit of a better friend from time to time, I think we have a bit of a better place to live in.
The Lot Pod is kindly sponsored by Fast Signs. Fast Signs are an established family-run business who've been providing businesses around Leeds and West Yorkshire with effective signs and graphics for almost 30 years. Fast Signs are passionate about helping customers make a statement with signs that are eye-catching, effective and delivered fast. Hi everyone, welcome to the Lot Pod, the Leeds Rhinos Lot 17-8 podcast, kindly sponsored by Fast Signs. Match review panel time, Leeds versus Warrington from the magic weekend at Ellen Road. Reece is still on his sabbatical. Are we calling it a sabbatical?
Sounds good, doesn't it?
Does, yeah.
Camera like that.
Camera like sabbatical. So it's producer Chris. How are you?
I'm good.
Is it that cold? You're quite wrapped up.
I'm sweating.
You're sweating. If you just see Chris, those on YouTube, just stripping off.
Yeah,
hopefully, he'll keep something on the bottom half. But we'll talk about you.
I've got my hat on because I'm overdue an haircut.
And I couldn't believe when you were on a couple of weeks back, and some cheeky
somebody said,
person
your hat needs a wash.
Said I'm not eating that or something. It needs a wash.
All right.
How rude.
Anyway.
I think it's your hat-trick appearance.
It is,
down here
this
in the
season,
studio.
In the studio.
So you're just behind Duncan, who just got his last week before. He came in.
Yeah,
it was his hat-trick. So it's Phil. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm very well.
Good.
Always nice to be here.
Yeah,
good.
it is.
Chinwag about some good rugby.
Have you reviewed a win this year? No. So you could stop coming in.
Yeah, it's all my fault. It's all my
Keep him off the schedule. Because you're almost as bad as Duncan. Duncan's the same.
Like the Omen.
Saying that, we haven't won that many.
To be fair, they are.
Exactly. Yeah. Like rocking.
I've been on every one and we've not reviewed nowhere near enough. Magic weekend, Leeds versus Warrington match review panel. First thoughts from me. I love Leeds. I love Leeds United. But that ground. Now, let me put a bit of context on that. The last time I were there was 2019. I'm kind of looking this way because I know he's more of a football fan than Chris. 2019, the playoff semi-final.
And it hasn't changed.
And it's going, it's changed. It's changed quite a bit.
It's just aged.
It's got a lot worse.
It's not changed since 1962. I don't know what
it's just the dive.
It's horrible.
I
was saying earlier on, and I were there yesterday with my little lad, and it wasn't even nice. You just crammed in places, like you said, people having a go at you when you stand up to move seats and reserve seating. And I don't know if it was just me, but I was just surrounded by people who couldn't handle the beer.
No, there were a lot of those.
And
there's a lot of people.
I saw 2 or 3 different groups of Leeds Rhino fans just arguing amongst themselves, and then just people talking.
Just a magic tradition, right?
Yeah, just people talking absolute drivel about what we're on the pitch. You know what I mean? We're just like, what? Yeah,
are they coming on here next week?
It would just.
Yeah, we're sorry about that.
If you had a little dictaphone, it'd have been comedy gold. It was brilliant.
Just recording there.
But it would just.
When was the last?
Horrible ground. Horrible.
Because producer Chris, you're not much of a football fan, are you?
No, not at all. But
so when was the last time?
I went to see Australia, New Zealand at World Cup.
Nice, that was a few. And what's the difference there?
Well, I was sat in better stand.
Yeah. You bought a box.
I bought best tickets I could
for that one.
Yeah, and that were all right. That big stand's all right.
The East Stand,
but where we were stood. I mean, we watched the Saints Wigan game, which I thought was absolutely dire.
Yeah, it was. Worth watching.
The seats were all right there, weren't they? But we were surrounded by Wigan fans, so that were awful. So we moved further back for Leeds game, and I was just stood in front of a or behind a post.
And then we switched, and then I was
Could not
the second
see.
half.
I could not see.
Depending on what you were watching, though, mate, that might have been a blessing.
So then I just stood in centre aisle where you're not supposed to stand.
Just actually not a bad view from here.
My highlight, because I like to pick up on stuff like this, is that they obviously got football markings, haven't they? Because it's a football ground. So they tried to cover them over by painting them green, but they must have got a job lot of the most luminous green.
Someone's just told the ground.
Tunnel paint.
Green.
They were more visible than the white lines.
I noticed when Ash Handley were warming up, if you watched him, when they were kicking across to him, as in part of warm up, like, and he were catching ball, and even he were getting confused. He was jumping around with them painted over lines.
Jumping ahead. There's something I'm touching on that in the review slightly. Yeah, but yeah, the absolute brightest green. It wore horse magic again.
No chance.
Can we all agree with that?
I don't think they really wanted it.
No, it was just quite clear. It was a one-off. No, it just didn't go to plan in the schedule. And Ellen Road and Leeds just said, "Look, we'll just take it this year, so we can all put it to bed. It won't be there again. It'll be in a much better."
Beer and food were all right priced.
Well, we people were daft because we found out quite early on that there's a members bar upstairs.
Season ticket bar, yeah.
And they were queuing for ages, wanted for beer and things like that.
In the North Stand,
We just went to members bar and it were literally 10 people.
We're dead. We're dead. It was like a little hidden secret.
Like, don't tell anyone about this.
Keep it a secret. And I think that was like an unwritten rule from everybody in there.
Yeah.
Because I went in 3 times. Every time I went in, it was never busy.
Just giving it the nod as you
Giving it holding the door like,
I know
all
where
right,
he's going.
yeah, are you?
Well, there were stewards stood by it, but the stewards were hilariously rubbish.
Oh, they were horrendous.
I went to first game, went out to meet Eddie, so I got stamp, and I just walked back in.
Just went straight back in.
Nobody checked anything.
There were just groups of people around me, just with big vapes like that. Just big clouds of strawberry smoke everywhere, and what fire wardens walking past, just looking, and then on the scoreboard it comes up, done it, no smoking or vaping, you're like that. Couldn't see it for blueberry smoke, you know.
Lots of flavours.
Yeah, it's
That
just
smells like cherry tunes.
it's not suited for sitting for 6-7 hours.
No.
Like,
I don't know how. I know we went in for 2. I kind of dipped in and out.
I went for 3 games.
For 3, sorry. But to be sat there,
We watched like 2 and a bit.
Newcastle's fine because it's big and it's roomy, and because it's too big for the event, means that you're not constantly stood up letting people out. It's a nightmare, wasn't it?
you can kind of and you can look at the ground and say, right, I'm going to sit there. I won't be hassled.
Poor sods looking for people at crowding and then getting shouted at.
Yeah.
Oh, we were sat.
There was a Wigan fan.
The worst Wigan fan.
On the worst sport fan I've ever. I don't know how he
wanted a clear view of the game.
He was absolutely awful, and I hope you're watching this.
There was some horrific language. I'm no prude, but I'm like, if you had your kids with you...
Well, thankfully, I didn't take any of mine, and the 3 of us obviously are adults, but there were no kids around either, were there? I think, not that I could...
was there a family area or
no? And that's what a one group of people were arguing over, because somebody had heard one of them swear and they hadn't and done. And I said I had my little lad with me, Max, and he was like, "What's going on?" And they were having this massive argument over somebody swearing and everything else. And then all you heard from back were effing and jeffing. Like, it's everywhere. You can't get away from it, you know.
But
I think it was because everybody had been drinking all day as well.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? And they were just it's. But yeah, the magic.
But in a bigger ground, it spreads out.
I'll tell you what, the Peacock pub was better than the fan zone.
Yeah, well,
we were walking in, weren't we?
Oh, did it have a surfboard?
Yeah, I don't know, but there was a stage, and there was somebody on stage with the top off, and then somebody was swearing. The
host.
DJ, the host guy, was
Cover your
swearing.
ears, George. He said something about the shittest team in West Yorkshire,
and
he was the bloke on the. You know, he was comparing it all. We walked past that is so rugby
I'd just
league.
love to know what goes on at RFL, though. You know, like when they're... and that's what I'm saying, you know, when they're trying to organise these things, and they advertise this fan zone, then you go around and they've got a ball what you throw, rugby nets what you throw rugby ball, and a stand-up surfboard. It's like Phoenix Nights in the 80s.
So working
family fun day, isn't it? You're just
that's what the kids want. That's what the kids want.
It's Jerry the Berry Parade, do you know what I mean? And you're just like...
Someone swearing on stage.
They've got to get up to some modern day stuff to try and make it attractive.
You kind of look at, because I'm kind of, we're on a bit of a tangent here, but we got beats and no one cares. IMG have got every time I go to something like this or something like this happens, I just think IMG's job is actually,
it's massive.
And it's almost an impossible job to pull the sport to
talk for hours on this, but
a professional level. People prefer this
IMG
rather
are
than
always
review.
going to. The problem they're going to have is the clubs have still really got control, haven't they?
Yeah.
And I know that's nothing to do. Well, they didn't want Magic Weekend.
No, they didn't.
And the reasons for not wanting it, I think, were sound. Although I do enjoy it.
It's a good concept.
It is a good concept.
Tweaking in massive areas to make it.
Their main point is you're asking your core audience to go to Challenge Cup, Magic Weekend, and Grand Final.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do Magic Weekend, make sure it's not to your core audience.
Yeah.
If that's what...
Yeah.
Which is originally what it were about, wasn't it?
Yeah. Like a road show.
Yeah, which I think's fine, but they were like, well, you just splitting your crowd 3 ways.
Yeah.
Well, soon after Wigan Saints came out, Wigan fans just got up and left, didn't they?
Yeah.
They were just like, we want
to be fair, they do that in their own ground.
Well, yeah.
We're getting beat.
But it's just, I said the concept of it and everything what goes with it, we're trying to move the game forward and bring new initiatives into it and that type of stuff, but we still seem to rely on them old ways to try and get people in, and it doesn't sell it anymore, unfortunately.
My highlight of the day was the learning disability games at half time.
They were great.
Yeah, brilliant.
They got bigger cheers.
Bigger reactions, yeah.
They need more stuff like that, don't they?
Yeah.
Because people, for that 15 minutes, it wasn't like separate crowds, was it? They were all...
It was brilliant. Everybody got, like I said, they all got a good round of applause. And
I'm not saying I know answers to what to do with Magic, but whatever this was this weekend is not the answer.
It's not it. No.
And I've watched most of the games and they've all been pretty poor. But I actually thought it's better at this time of year, just because he's more riding on games. But they've all been pretty poor, haven't they?
Yeah. We'd have been spinning a different tale if we'd have won.
Well, I thought ours... No, to be fair,
what a fantastic night we had at Ellen Road.
I thought our game was the best game of the weekend as far as
the
quality.
The quality and probably...
That first half was very good.
Shall we talk about it?
Right, yeah. Is that the positive?
Why not?
The positives, yes.
There's a positive that it's not going to be there next year.
Yeah, there you go. That's the first positive. Phil, what positives can we as Rhinos fans, can the Rhinos squad, can Farmer Arthur take from this one?
First 40 minutes, I think. First 40 minutes, if we could have started off in that same frame in second half, we're on with the Roderick tie-it on Lackey Miller, what let George Williams away to score, wasn't it? Which I thought we were a little bit hard done by, but
we're
against the grain.
And there's nothing you can do about that, is there?
He's come up with a good shot, he's forced a mistake, and they've capitalised on it, which is what you want to do as a defender.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? So I had no qualms with that, but the people at back of me, he took his head off, he's done this, right? It's just a good tackle.
He's just hit him with a belter, and there's probably hardly any players in the league that keep on the ball when you've just been smacked like that.
So he lined him up. That first 40, I thought, we'll compete with them. They're third in league, and they've had some real good wins and that type of stuff. And like you said, for Brad Arthur's short tenure so far, I thought he turned it around. We just got to try and put it together now.
Well, we were saying, weren't we, during that half, they're playing really direct and they're making quite a lot of meters. And I know recently you had to do stats, but I had a quick look and we had twice as many play the balls in their half than they did us, and that's because we were making a lot of ground, which fair play to Sangari and Lissoni, because they're not starting props, are they? But he were blowing out of his arse.
Lissoni, when he came off after that first bit, he was right in line with touchline what I wanted. He was just down on his own. She's for about 5-10 minutes.
They did put a good shift in, to be fair. I thought that first half was really, really good quality from both sides.
Yeah. We're really, like I said, we're really lighting them forwards, aren't we? But I think
we don't have any.
He's defended a lot well, and like I said, they're making do with what we've got in terms of that. So his defence is coming, but we missed Brodie Croft yesterday. His attack was non-existent, I think.
I would even go as far as say we might have won with him there because we just didn't attack, did we?
Yeah. Frawley and Sinfield were like both similar players.
Yeah, they are.
And we had no go forward.
You're asking one to do something out of the ordinary, which were probably
They didn't really create anything for us outside backs.
And he stifled Lockie Miller a bit because he wasn't getting the same
level of service. He was looking to be the creator rather than get on the end of it.
That's a really good point. He was trying to create more than...
Yeah.
Because
which then makes sometimes, when he's forcing it,
well, it makes him
look bad, doesn't it? Because he's forcing it, but it's just the other players are not on his level.
Yeah.
Where he's had to realise, he's got that knowledge to realise that nothing's happening. And he's had to think, right, I've got to go take this by its scruff of neck and go make something happen. And he's forcing it and forcing it.
Magic.
Yeah. So I think Croft was a massive miss.
Any positives from you?
Just again, the first half. I think the whole game we weren't that far off.
No,
the scoreline does not reflect that game.
And how many times have we said that this year?
Yeah, but we look a totally different side. So you've got to, fair props to players because they've changed the style in 4 weeks.
Yeah,
and it's not just a little change; it's a total shift in how they're playing.
Yeah,
but there's certain players that love that style. Look at Jared O'Connor. He's thriving, isn't he?
Made for those
that sort of style. So is James Bentley. It's them type of players.
You've seen a difference in James Bentley, even just his attitude and discipline, I think.
Yeah.
In terms of that.
Made him get an haircut.
I've seen some people say Harry Newman were quiet, but I thought he did.
That was one of my positives.
He did a ton of work.
First half, we were waxing lyrical, weren't we, about him and Ash? He did.
I'd just like to see him back on the other side, though. Now
I've always said that he's a right centre. I don't understand.
As soon as he gets ball, his first option is just to step back inside.
Yeah.
So he's starving Ash Handley.
Yeah.
Where at the beginning of the season we were chatting really positive around the relationship between Momorowski and him. And he was, top at Super League charts. He couldn't couldn't stop him scoring, could you? Now he don't get no opportunity to do that.
Momorowski didn't score, did he? Because every time he had the ball at the try line, he passed it to Ash.
Momorowski were really, really good.
Another one, yeah.
He's starting to look like the player we thought, but people are too quick to judge overseas players. They can take a year at least sometimes to settle, and it's a big change, isn't it?
It's a massive change in environment, different, part of the world, all that type of stuff.
I think he'll come good, Momorowski. He's a clever player, but he should be on the left-hand side.
Yes.
Yeah, just switch him, Farmer, switch him. The hit, so it was 2-0, and then the hit from Ty on Miller. Just like I just said, just a beautifully timed hit. Miller hits the deck, loses the ball, and then Miller just concentrates on his ability to breathe then, because he thinks, Jesus Christ. Just a perfect shot, and as you said, Williams scores, it's 8-0 at half-time. I did feel it was a cruel reflection of the game, but you create your own luck. But
it was a good hit, wasn't it?
It was a beauty hit.
It wasn't a lucky try.
No, and he's come flying out.
He's forced that mistake. If he just goes up and makes a tackle, they go into 2-0 at half time or whatever, maybe we go and score. But you know what I mean?
To be fair against Miller, if he gets that slightly wrong, he steps him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But he didn't.
Yeah,
it's got to clink, bell, bang.
It lined him up, didn't miss, and they paid the consequences.
And I felt it in back at stand.
It was a beauty. I couldn't understand. Perhaps it was like the Leeds fans' reaction to it. Perhaps it was a day on the bevy. I don't know, because even when you watch the replay, it was just a bell ringer.
Yeah. You could maybe think it was a shoulder charge, but he wrapped his arm
around him, shoulder it in. It was,
you can hit with your shoulder.
Target area, and he timed it to perfection, didn't he?
Well, let's go.
One thing for sure, Miller had been on ibuprofen last night.
I think there were a lot of positives, but the more positives for the future rather than
here
and now.
Yeah. I think we're right. I think we've just got to take it week by week at a minute and just, this week's magic's been and gone, and let's just prepare for Catalan's Friday now.
Yeah. I agree. Just on Miller, what did you think of his overall performance?
One of his best, wasn't it? And I'm a bit of a fanboy of his, but I think we touched on it, haven't we? That I think he were missing that link with
Brody.
He were missing that level of service, what he's probably been used to getting.
But he still seems to have cut the errors out. There were one where he got bundled back over his dead
ball.
I don't think that were his fault.
No.
Nobody helped him.
There was no support there, was there? There was Newman who came in late.
Nobody sort of helped shepherd the Warrington players out of the way.
Yeah.
like Keith Senior used to. But maybe he should have just gone to ground. But I think he tried, didn't he? And they just picked him up.
But if you,
dropped him back in.
a lot of them do it now. They'll just try and keep you up, don't they?
I think he's just that type of player that if nothing's happening attack-wise, he'll try do it himself.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always work, that, does it?
No.
That's what I'm saying. When it comes off, you look absolutely ace. But when it done, and it hasn't happened for him more times recently, and everything then points to you, done it as that. You've done that. You've done this. And
it's in those moments. I mean, we jumped towards end of game when we were really chasing the game, and he flew out a cut-out pass to Ash, and it went into touch. And again, there were loads of, and you can think, but I think no, I want him.
They need to try to hit
those.
If you chase in game,
they've got to try it, haven't they? Got to try.
I want him to be skillful. I want to see attacking rugby. I want him to try hit those cut-out passes.
It's fine margins, isn't it?
It works exactly.
If that's 2 inches further back,
and Ash catches it and he's in.
So we can't be. I don't
can't
want
have it
us,
both ways.
I don't want us to be a side that's so sort of methodical as well. That
just set after set.
You need some kind of.
I'd like to see us be not having to do it in that position, though.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Where we're getting beaten, it's so late in game,
and then you got to chuck that pass.
I think
that license to go do it early on, or when you're in that good attacking position, or attacking
like we did against Wigan,
field,
because we were dominating that game.
Yeah.
Although weirdly, Brad Arthur, Farmer Arthur, said we played better against Warrington than Wigan.
Yeah.
It just shows you what he's looking at, though, and he's obviously seen something different.
But he was really positive, wasn't he? And I liked that. That's what makes me think he'll sign.
Yeah.
He'll sign.
That
Monday
he
morning.
just said, I'm super proud of him, and that didn't reflect the thing. And I think...
He'll have already signed by the time people listen to this.
I think the players have shown him they want him to stay.
Yeah, I agree.
And if I'm being cynical, he ain't got another job, has he?
not for the next couple of years. But again, we touched on before, I think that he's come over sort of like a little bit unsure, got through into deep end at Warrington and watched us get absolutely thumped without any performance.
Yeah.
He's then took over the reins, started to work a little bit of his magic, and you can see that in certain elements of the game.
Yeah.
And then, again, I think the level of support the club's got, that what he's seen from training from the players, the ground and stuff, and the atmosphere what's creating when we're on such a bad patch. Imagine he might be looking at thinking, what's it like when it's bouncing and we're winning and we're playing really good rugby.
Because he has mentioned the crowd at least twice.
Yeah,
it is a great club, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's the best.
So, and if he stays, we'll be competing next year.
Well, he's also going to be looking at the squad as if to say, are they reacting to how I'm asking them to play and perform and how their form's increasing since he's been in. But he's going to be talking to Blaster and Etherington, saying so the things behind the scenes in terms of recruitment as well.
Yeah, because he's had no influence on that, has he?
Because he's going to be thinking, look, if I'm in, what's going to happen if I do sign next year? So the club must have been saying to him, yeah, we'll give you. You can.
There's lots of people will disagree with me on this. I think we're 3 players short. We need to replace Reece Martin, and we need 2 frontline props.
Yeah,
and I don't think the squad's that far off.
It's not that far away. It's like you said, it's just trying to get all them pieces in that right place, isn't it? But I agree with you there. He hadn't had no influence on recruitment because he's been and gone by the time he's come. So he's playing with a deck he's been dealt, unfortunately, in some areas.
Poor bugger.
So he can only work his magic with what he's got. But so I think maybe, if he does sign, hopefully he does, and we've started to see them benefits of him so far, and a good pre-season, good recruitment, and then he starts to put his own flavour and stamp on it. I think we'll compete.
Do you think, I'm going to say when he signs, because I'm pushing it out to the universe, when he does sign, do you think that's because obviously it's massive for recruitment for next year and beyond, because it is, he's got that massive NRL link, not just with the para players, but all those in the NRL, they all know who he is, they'll know his style, so that's going to be a draw. The Rhinos are a draw, but I think season tickets as well.
Yeah,
I think it's that big of a deal. I think we'd flog the additional season tickets on top of it, because people are going to want to. We'll finish this year rather strongly. However that ends, we'll talk about that later. But I do think it's a draw across the board, not just in.
Yeah,
I think it's an absolute.
I think we'll get a couple of para players.
Yeah, I do. two in particular.
I think he'll have some lined up.
James McDonnell. He put a hit in on... Who was it?
I don't know, but it wasn't a head-eye tackle.
He put a hit
I know
in,
we're not
it
going
came
to moan
in.
about refs, but...
And I can only assume he hit him too hard, and that's why the penalty was.
It was right in front of us, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it, because it was not a penalty. No. Anyway, that's that. What do you think of his performance, Phil? Because last week on the pod, on the player ratings, everyone was waxing lyrical about it. I think he got an 8.6, so what he made of his performance.
He's a workhorse, isn't he?
Yeah, he's awesome.
I think when he first came from Wigan, and we saw that initially, didn't we? But we still got to remember that he's still only young, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's not.
But you know, he's a bit
still a kid, really.
like a silent assassin. He used to just go around, do his work.
I don't think I've ever heard him speak.
That's what I mean.
Has he ever done an interview or anything?
No,
Honestly,
get through all his work and just do that, and then you saw, you know,
That's why he don't do 'em.
He'd come up with a try every now and then, wouldn't he? And I think, you know, even under Rowan Smith times, you know, we saw that bit dipped off a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think he's been reinvigorated with Brad Arth, and I think we're seeing it now, but at a more consistent level.
I thought it was fabulous.
Yeah,
especially at first half.
Past few weeks, he's been awesome.
Back to back.
He put some right hits in, but he's made some clean breaks as well.
Yeah.
A player that's obviously going to thrive under that type of system.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it seems to be, and like I said, he seems to be a more. You're seeing it a little bit week in, week out now, rather than 1 week on, 1 week off, etc. It's getting more
not just with James,
but across a number of players.
Across the board, it's getting quite consistent there. One player that was absolutely immense, Jared O'Connor.
Yep.
He came on at 13, played a bit of prop.
I think
I've said this loads, but it's just a general, and I don't say this lightly, fantastic rugby league player in that. I think initially when we signed him, he was a second row. He's played hooker for us. He's playing 13 for us. He's filling in at prop. He's a tackle machine.
He's the perfect bench player, isn't he?
Yeah.
Because you can bring him in.
I wouldn't have put him on bench yesterday. I'd have played him at 13.
You started him.
I'd have put Cameron Smith on bench.
Put Cammy on bench.
I'd have played Cam at prop.
Yeah.
I just thought,
but I just thought, you know, O'Connor deserved his shot from last week at 13, and I'd have left him there.
Do you think Philly gets the raps he deserves? I think he's he is definitely.
I think he's hit on someone, didn't he?
He's the most underrated player in the whole of the league.
I think he's starting to more now, but I think he's been.
Yes, he's been on the pod a few times.
Yeah.
Friend of the pod.
He's trying to get him back on, is that?
He'd come back on.
I just think he hadn't had that opportunity before to actually showcase his position, because he were always on the bench or off, or always playing second fiddle to somebody, whereas now, you know, he's more embedded in the team, but I think he's had a bit of a longer run in the team and starting players in a starting position where I think he's seen it more. But yeah, I'd have played him at 13 yesterday. I'd put Cam Smith on bench.
You sometimes think with players that when they get that utility tag, that the quality wanes, the below average or they're just average. I don't think with Jared it matters.
No, it can stifle your career, can't it?
Exactly.
Look at Liam Sutcliffe.
Don't know
played
what he is.
every position on field, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe not prop. Maybe he did, I don't know. And that were his downfall, really, because he was a talented kid, but
played
it
everywhere.
Doesn't matter with somebody like Jared.
He's too good.
Because I think he can play each position at a high quality.
Yeah.
And for us, having somebody like that, whether he's on bench or starts, we need that, don't we? Especially when we've got no props. So...
Number 8.
Fill yourself out, Jared. Fill yourself out. Join your dad.
I bet he's an absolute dream to coach as well.
I bet he is.
Yeah, I think he'll be.
I think that shone when Rowan came in and said, "I'm going to play you at 9," and he'd never played it.
I mean, he's a good hooker, isn't he?
He's really good. And a lot of us on the pod, myself included, I know Reece agreed that at the time when Leeming left, God, that feels like an absolute age ago, but it isn't.
No.
It's last year. We said if Jared got the number 9 shirt, we'd be happy with that because he's not.
Yeah.
Obviously,
it works out and deserved it at that time.
So that proved that he's. So I think if he got any shirt number on any position, I don't think any of us would be.
What shirt number has he got?
14, utility.
Yeah. I think with Jared O'Connor, where no matter where he is, 1 to 13 or whatever, he will give 100% every time.
Yeah. And you do need players like that.
And like you said, you do need it. You don't get one of them where they're a centre and they go, you need to play second row this week. And I've never played it before. Where Jared will just go, yeah, it's fine, no problem. And he'll give it 100%.
Best centre on pitch.
But you're right, it can stifle players' things, careers. Because if you can't get rid of that utility tag, you end up moving here, there, and everywhere, don't you?
So I think he's really unique in that aspect. That if he does, he might settle in one position, but if he does kind of float between 2/3 positions, I don't think we're going to suffer at all.
Anywhere, like you said, Hooker or back three, second row, loose forward, I think he'll be happy at that.
David Fussy Tour. Yellow card, yay or nay?
I don't really want to talk about it.
I wouldn't have put him in team here. I'd have left Elfage on.
You just kept it.
I thought he played all right, actually.
Yeah. He had a good game.
For me, it's a penalty and not a yellow card.
Yes, I agree.
Well,
so
definitely want to try scoring.
I haven't got
position.
an issue with the penalty. He took him out, but
I don't know why he did that.
Well, to be honest, I think he thought. I don't think he tracked the ball. Well, neither.
I think he just lost his position, didn't he?
Completely.
I think he thought Ashton had either got the ball or was going for it. And didn't realise that ball was 10 yards behind him.
And then Fussy's thought,
so how
I need to do something.
How they can go for a penalty try?
Yeah.
No,
and a sin bin, it should be a clear try scoring opportunity.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
How could he?
Grenade ball.
Ashton looked offside to me as well, so they should have checked.
Do you know what though?
I
watched highlights this afternoon, and as soon as I did it, and I thought, his yard's offside. What's it? He should have looked at that. And when I looked, I was like, pausing it. He wasn't.
Was he not?
Yeah, he wasn't offside. As his foot hits the ball, he's back. He's in line.
He did look it because I wasn't that meticulous. I just looked at it
because I knew it might come up. And I had a look this afternoon when it was on. But
it's not a clear try scoring opportunity.
No,
is it?
It's not. No.
How could he have got ball?
And that's
They're
the
both
thing.
overran it.
The referee has got to be 100% certain that defender has stopped that try scoring opportunity. And there were too many ifs and buts in that one. So
it's
because
he went to screen for a penalty try. So if it's not a penalty try, they've got to give him a yellow.
Has to be a yellow off the back of that.
For me,
if he'd just looked at an obstruction on the defender, it should have just been a penalty, which has probably been the right call.
But I can see why he did it, because not Fussy Tour, the ref. I can see why he did that, but then it's just a harsh call, isn't it?
It was harsh.
It's just a harsh call.
But it's one of them things, isn't it? It's gone against us, and it's how we react then in it as a team.
Yeah,
and players.
Exactly.
It was bad.
The two yellows at the end were more of a farce.
yeah.
But anyway, game were gone then. But
the game had gone.
Yeah, you get them calls sometimes, and you don't others. It's anyone abusing referee. You can discuss the incident, can't you, and say you think it were wrong or
that's fine.
It were harsh. Anyone abusing referee can just get into C for me.
Yeah,
I'm not having it.
There's no game without him. There's no
I'm not having it because
there's no need for it.
Abusing them on Twitter and all this, it's like
Twitter's just a cesspool. It's just a cesspool.
Wind your neck in.
The human end of the day. He's made a decision. It ain't gone our way. Yeah, he probably could have looked at different things and he's decided not to do that.
He's not cost his game, has he? Because you can go down to 12 men and still win.
Yeah.
I mean,
they did score twice while Fussy Tour was off, though.
They did, but we'd not scored.
Exactly.
Before then, when we were playing well.
2 points adrift.
No one scoring either.
So, harsh call. I think it were incorrect. Yeah, get on with it.
Yeah, and we move on. Jack Sinfield played. What did you make of Jack the lad's performance, Phil?
It was nice to see him play.
It was.
Or nice to be, because he's been
sometimes
around there, 18th man travelling.
Yeah, sometimes he's there, isn't he?
Again, I think he should have had more game time before
this year.
And I think him and Frawley, we missed Brodie-Croft massively. We missed that running aspect as halfback, and they were two very similar to me. But I think we got found out on that right edge a bit. I think he got exposed a couple of times, and I think that purely not because he's not capable of doing it. I think he's just that lack of match speed at that level.
Yeah.
Warrington exposed that right hand side, and they targeted Jack, and he missed a couple of tackles, and they made some yards, and they've scored a couple of tries. I mean, Matt Duffy went down that side every time, didn't he?
Yeah,
on one leg.
I'm not outside of that, and it was just I think he's there. I just think it's because he hasn't been up to speed. He's been playing reserves, and he's probably a little bit slower. But I thought he got found wanting a couple of times.
Is he 20?
I think he's 20.
I think he's just turned 20, hasn't he? Still a young kid,
He's
isn't he?
still young, and like I said, he's out there doing it.
The thing is as well, is some young kids burst on scene, like, it doesn't tell you length.
Doesn't it? I thought it told you time.
Doesn't tell you on that neither.
I'm not going to find it anywhere then, am I? You can see it.
What were I saying? Some especially halfbacks, some young kids burst on scene, but they're not the type of player that Jack is. Jack's like an organising. Yeah. He's not a flashy halfback, is he?
No.
So I think people are wanting him to be like we saw that Farriman kid for Wigan.
Yeah.
Loads
what was his name?
Farriman. There we go. He's got loads of tricks, hasn't he?
Yeah. Chip chase, scored all.
But he's probably not got the same sort of organisation and kicking skills as Jack. So it's like, but I think people expect these young kids to come out and put on miracle plays and
Mikey Lewis, yeah.
But he's not, is it?
No. It's game management, and he's obviously seen that with his dad, and that's the type of player he is.
Runs like his dad. He looks like his dad.
It's the game management.
Is his dad?
That's a big role for a
young lad.
A young lad, and the name weighs on his. It might not weigh on his shoulders. It weighs on fans' shoulders, doesn't it?
It was a discussion that we had last night after the game with some people, because they were saying, some Leeds fans were saying, if he wasn't called Sinfield, he wouldn't be in the side.
I can sort of see why you would think that, but he's not his dad, is he? Anyway,
No.
That's exactly what I said.
But that's the thing.
Two separate.
His dad was
amazing.
Well, he was a freak, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was inside at 16, and he was captain at 20, 21. He's not Jack, is he? And Jack will work out. It's just, it's not. It might take a bit longer.
Yeah,
he
will mature.
He might need to go on loan for 6 months.
I think he needs to be playing in that team more and more, so he can put his game management, use his strengths to that. Whereas, like his dad, we held him on such a high pedestal, don't we?
Yeah.
But he was blessed as well with players he had around him, which complemented his style of play as well.
Yeah.
Whereas Jack at minute, he can't use his own style of play.
Well, and to be fair,
we're not performing.
Kev was bigger and he wasn't a halfback.
No, he won't.
So it might be easier when you're a kid. He played at loose and second row, didn't he, a lot when he was younger?
Yeah.
Do you think Jack is an halfback?
I think he's an out-and-out 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a 7.
Organising 7, but he's exactly the same as Frawley. Same skill set.
It is, though, isn't it? And like you said, they're never gonna go to line and dummy or break a line or whatever. Are they? They need to be putting people through the gap.
Yeah.
I'd be quite happy if they gave him 7. Said go and do it.
Give him a chance.
You've got Croft there, but we've got Frawley for another year, haven't we?
Yeah.
And unless they get rid of him for whatever reason,
he won't be going anywhere.
No. That means Jack's got a year, and I think he needs to go on loan, but be able to be recalled when we need him, and have some planned games for him. I can't believe people are writing him off at 20-year-old.
That's what I mean. If somebody said, right, in a year's time, we want you to be his understudy or just train with Brodie Croft, Frawley and that type of players and work with people he's got already.
Yeah.
And obviously train with your dad every now and then. That'll set you in good stead.
Do kicking with your old man.
Well, that's the thing as well.
And in a year's time...
That's the thing, I'm not being funny, we're losing his goal kicker. And he can kick.
Yeah.
Lockie Miller was practising yesterday, wasn't he, as well?
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of that now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I think Miller's going to be kicking next year.
He will be.
Yeah.
He can kick.
Yeah, he can.
He's a good player.
He looks all right yesterday.
He's not.
I just think Jack. I think he needs a. Like you said, he needs a chance. At minute, it's been made harder by the times he's been put into the team and has to perform because it's always when we're
playing
being beat or we're playing bad.
And it's going to be tough.
He's not going to go in and just change it with still players he's got around him.
No, which is perhaps what some fans are asking. They're like, right, now's your chance.
That's kind of what I mean. He's not that type of player, though, is he?
No.
He's not going to come up with like a miracle play, chip and chase, all that sort of stuff. He's an organising, like traditional.
That's why we have Brodie, innit, to do all the
so
fancy pants stuff.
I think people just need to calm down. He's 20-year-old.
Take a breath.
He'll make some errors. His defence won't be up to it at 20-year-old, but
no,
I don't think he were bad. Yes,
future Leeds captain. I can assure you.
I think Warrington's more experienced halves than that. They're triangular hooker, Clark, Williams.
Drinkwater, Dufty.
George Williams, Dufty at fullback.
Yeah.
Hooker, Walker, is it?
Walker.
He was brilliant with Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah, well played.
You can see how that they were in sync already, weren't they? You know, when the Brockers down middle and they were just like, they were there straight away, and you just like it. They knew each other's game.
Our defence was terrible when he did that, and I think Brad Arthur will be fuming.
Bentley,
he did say that,
Bentley shot outline,
and Frawley got pushed off. So it's like, I think that's.
Sorry, fast signs Frawley, but that tackle were appalling.
I think
appalling.
I think they're
Window Kid.
When he's saying there's some detail.
Too late.
He said there's some detail that needs fixing up.
I think that's what we're getting at.
Yeah. But that's the thing about Brad Arthur, though. At least he's been honest and gone, there's some detail we need to work on. Whereas under Owen Smithfield, he thought everything was great. Yeah,
just told everything. We're all right, aren't we? We're all right.
I think to stick up for Rowan, I think he just didn't like publicly slagging the players off. Did he? Some coaches are like that. Paul Rowley's similar, isn't he?
Yeah.
But I don't think Brad Arthur is. I think he'll let you know.
Yeah. I think
it's just clever how he actually does it, and it's nice to see him recognise, and even just to acknowledge that the fans and that people are going, I know you've seen it and it ain't quite right. We've recognised it and we'll work on it. Whereas before, try to be blinkered by seeing something which was so poor, yet the head coach was saying, it's fine, don't worry, to worry about.
I think that's his NRL experience because they're under quite a lot of media microscope,
so they get fined and all sorts.
He knows how to speak.
There's tons of it, whereas here it's just...
I think if you go on YouTube and just type in Ricky Stewart, he gets fined like $100,000 a year, doesn't he? Plus, like his media off.
Did you see Simon Griggs about Hull? I mean, he's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong.
But he said that was a championship level game.
Yeah. He said, don't even be top of that.
Don't even be top of championship. Right, mate. I mean...
Be interesting tomorrow morning, wouldn't it?
Do we have to play Hull?
We've got all, haven't we?
Yes.
Yeah, we have.
Like Catalan's next door.
Thank God.
All London, yeah.
All London, Wigan.
Hey, London were good.
They were. Love that shirt.
They were playing Hull, so it's...
I do like that shirt.
I'm jumping back to the beginning of pod.
Did
you see it when ref were right? So there were a penalty, but Hooter had gone and ball had gone dead.
Oh, yeah.
So he's like...
Brought them all back,
he's bringing them all back, saying, look, I've got to finish game.
Sprinkles had come on and all.
Sprinkles had come on.
This is rugby league 101.
Groundsman had come on.
Is it SASA, that old player?
Yeah.
He were in changing room, we'd walked.
Had to pull him up back.
Probably had showers of cold Ellen Road.
And poor Rest going, I've got to finish it.
Because he'd been someone, didn't he, for a late hit?
That were bad.
Yeah,
Did
that
you
was
see
bad.
it? He's going to get a few games for that.
Yeah, we're bad on that.
But yeah, Sprinkles had come on. I had a bit of a chuckle. Groundsman walked on because they were sat in our corner. Sprinkles come on, they walk back off,
Ref's
and then he's calling them back. He's calling them back
game.
Well, to me, my wife doesn't really watch a lot of rugby. She does now and again, but we had it on today, and at the end of Salford game, they put sprinklers on, and it was spraying interview like Paul Rowley and that. And she went, what's going on here? Why have they got sprinklers? I just said, it's rugby league, innit?
They just
do you know what I mean?
They don't give a toss.
It's just rugby league. If they can do something that's stupid, they'll do it.
They'll do it. Just give them all a soaking. Is that the end of the Leeds Rhinos 2024 playoff campaign? Who wants to go first?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, I think it is.
Leave
today's results as well.
Yeah, I think Salford losing is obviously good for us, but that meant Lee winning, so we're on 8th now.
Yeah, still 4 points adrift at 6, aren't we?
I don't think they'll think that. I think they'll give it a good go.
I think it feels better. Because to me, but to me, the Salford result was fatal for our year. That what it was.
Yeah, that did it for you, didn't it?
It did it for me massively. But I think I feel a little, because usually I'm like, no, it's easier to be negative, isn't it?
The pain's over.
Yeah,
you got some relief, and you can start
saying, no, we're going to win, we're going to make it, and everyone's saying, and I'm like, no.
It's better to know about it now rather than in another 3 weeks' time.
I think the thing is, you can go and enjoy games, can't you? Because it's like,
and I am.
If Brad Arthur signs and we get that news, then you're like, well,
we'll look at 25 now.
Yeah.
And I don't think the players will give up. No. So it's not going to be like Hull where they're on beach, aren't they already? I think they'll carry on having a go. I think what will make it all a bit all right is I think Saints will drop out.
Yeah, for the first time.
I think they'll end up 7th.
You reckon?
Wow.
They were
massive.
absolutely
Mind you, it'll be
dire.
massive if we don't get there. It's got to be a massive
Well,
failure
exactly.
this year.
It's just
hasn't
we're
it?
used to
Well,
it.
that's
But I mean,
It's
second year
just
in a row, isn't it?
Yeah,
We're
and
a
that's,
bit
so
used
that's
to
what
it.
I'm
That's
saying.
the,
So
is
when
that,
you
that's the
look at
first time ever.
that longer term plan of us
Lee
not getting there is not
looked good. I think Salford have had. I mean, I know they beat us, but they've not been playing very well, have they? And I think they might turn that around. I just saw Saints, and I'm like,
They're awful.
they were dire. So
Saints were dire, yes.
if Saints are 7th, it'll go somewhere to. But yeah, I think to answer you, I think we're done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll
we're
be mega
done.
frustrating if we're going like we miss the playoffs, but we're going like a bit of Indian summer now and get like 10 points out of 12 or
Just
whatever,
miss out.
and
Just
miss out.
yeah.
Yeah, that's I don't know which is
Saying
best.
that, when
Best bit.
Rowan came in, we only just made it on last game of the season.
Yeah, we
didn't
did. It was Cass, wasn't it? Cass
I mean,
at
to be
home.
fair, we were rock bottom when it came. So, but yeah, I don't
couldn't
know.
get any
I think
worse.
we're done. So I think we can all just relax and go and
Yeah, just go and enjoy the
games.
game, enjoy the new head coach, see what he's got to bring, and hopefully finish the year as positive as I can. Player ratings time. Statman Reese posts out on X after every game. It's a Google form, 1 to 10 for each player. You can complete the form, send your...
can I make a confession?
Go for it.
I've never filled one.
You've never done it? Did you hear that, Reese?
I've done them all besides this one because I didn't see it.
I've never filled them in. I always mean to, and then I'm like, I forget, and I'm like, well, should I fill them in anyway?
Well, welcome along. The for
I
every
didn't feel
game.
like it neither.
For every game.
Too low.
That's your job. Too low. So go follow Statman Reese, and we also retweet it on the Lot Pod X account as well. I'll just rattle through these, and Phil and Chris can react as we go. Lucky Miller 6.1.
Probably a bit low.
Bit low. I'm not going too low.
A bit low.
Yeah.
Fussy Tour 5.5.
They were bang average one, I think.
Yeah, but I think that's still a bit low. I think
5.6.
What were it? 5.5.
5.5.
So it was too low.
Paul Momorovsky 7.3. Now we don't have Reese here, but I don't recall Paul.
Being in the
I'd have put Paul more nearer 8.
I don't recall him. He probably last week got a
I
decent
don't think
score,
he did.
but
He
I
didn't
don't
do
think he
anything
did
wrong, and he made some
wrong,
few
no.
breaks,
Yeah.
didn't he?
he scored a good
Scored
try.
one.
Finished it well.
Yeah.
Who put the kick through? Was it Jack?
Reece
Yeah,
Martin.
Martin.
Yeah.
I spoke about
I think
He called
anywhere
for it though,
between
didn't he?
7 and
Yeah,
8.
put him
I
in,
think,
yeah.
He's like,
it'd have been-
Yeah, put him in. It was brilliant.
I thought he was good.
Harry Newman 6.4. I think that's low.
I think that's low.
I
it's
think
low,
Harry.
but we're doing it by Harry what we've known him he can do.
But I think Harry
He's
in
not doing
general, for whatever reason, his scores are always low on this.
As outside backs made a lot of meters yesterday.
Did a lot of work.
Ash Hanley would 199.
Ash Hanley
Lucas
6.
had to come in and take ball.
Exactly.
No
So
forwards.
I think Harry Newman were well over 100, and Momorovsky were as well.
Harry 6.4.
Too low.
Ash 6.9.
Ash were quiet though, weren't he?
Yeah.
But look at the work he did.
That's what I mean.
Did tons of work.
So they're doing loads of work out of the
Playing as
average, and then
props.
when we're in good ball,
With a
they're not-
knackered arm.
Yeah,
Yeah, playing injured.
So I think 6s are a bit too low. I think because of the scoreline, maybe.
That's always. You've seen when we win.
a lot of people had done them frustrated last night. And all.
Yeah, I think
You've seen when
think
we
if-
win.
if you
Oh,
look at-
10, 9, yeah, 10.
Because I think as races run with playoffs, I'm looking at performance. I'm not that bothered about.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm going to say they're all too low.
Fast Signs Frawley 5.8. Seems about right to
He
me.
didn't really do much,
He
did
didn't
he?
do much.
Seems
To
about
be
right.
fair.
I'd have expected him to stand up a bit more as
Yeah,
well.
he didn't.
Jack.
With Jack not been there. Speaking of Jack, 5.7. 1 lower than. 1 point below than Matt.
I think it's too low, but I think they're all too low. So that's fine.
Just the
Is it too low because it's Jack? Do you know what I
Probably,
mean?
yeah.
Is it
5.7.
if you're comparing him to?
Well-
we're saying that he's similar to Frawley, and he got
don't know.
score. Do you know what I mean?
Players tend to
Similar type
with
player.
fans play it. There tends to be a player that every month they navigate to slagging them off.
Yeah.
I can guarantee Cameron Smith's score will be
4
really low.
points, something.
We'll find out. Sam Lasoni 6.7. That's about.
I thought he did. He's
He
doing a
he's
job
doing
that he's
his-
not
doing
used
what
to.
he
He
can,
was
yeah.
just
His
he
job,
were
yeah.
knackered, wasn't he?
He were
I think.
Playing a lot more than he should
I
be.
thought he were all right.
I thought we're 2, man. Andy Ackers 6.4.
It wasn't his best game for me.
Quiet
but
game.
Yeah, he had a quiet one.
I don't think it was too bad. Sangare 5.5. I think that's one of the highest scores Justin's had.
I tell you what, he looks
a
to be
long
running with a
time.
bit more purpose.
He does, but even with no props, I still won't have him into.
I think he's genuinely playing for his Leeds career.
Yeah.
I really do.
Rugby career in general.
So
who's going to pick him up?
Yeah, so I think he's got a lot to play
Rugby
for.
Union in France.
We spoke well about James McDonnell, 7.2.
Too
so
low.
the current highest. No. So, Momorowski, 7.3. Reece Martin, 6.3. Cam Smith, 5. On the nose, 5. Bang average game.
I thought he did. Yeah, I don't think he.
He's struggling a bit. I'm just a bit
Too low.
It is too low. He's struggling a bit with form or whatever. But again, some of the abuse he's getting is just ridiculous.
The abuse in deserved. I think he's struggling with his role in the team. Do you know what I mean?
But that's some
especially
of the
with Frawley, Croft, a few others now. Like, what is his actual role? Because he's gone back to loose forward, but he's still wanting to do everything else as if
They did last year,
weren't
year
there,
before.
and it don't complement the team.
That's something a structured coach will sort out.
Yeah.
That's your job. You do that. But the amount of work he does just goes under.
Does.
Like I said, I wouldn't have had him at 13 yesterday. I'd have had
Jared. I'll just quickly run through the bench. Bentley 6.5, Jared 7.6,
Too low.
Little Tom 5.8, and Donaldson 5.1. So according to the player ratings, kind of reflects what we said on the review. To be honest, it's Jared 7.6.
Yeah. Well, are we doing player at match now?
Yeah. So and Brad Arthur 7.5. I gave him a 9.
what for?
His rating.
Brad Arthur. Why?
I thought.
Tell us why.
No one ever asked
No one ever said his
why.
opinion.
No one ever asked me.
Tell us
Shows
why.
the Reese when I ask him a difficult question. He says, "What do you think?" I'm like, "Don't ask me." I think for what we've got, the squad we have, with no props, like you say, we're putting Jared in there, Bentley in there. I thought we gave it a decent go. I gave him a 9. I think for the squad, his cards are dealt, aren't they? And he knows that. And I'm not saying it's thingy, but I thought we did what we could, and some decisions go against you, some go for you, don't they? But yeah, so the player ratings forms, it's Jared as the official Fast Signs man of the match. But Phil, who is your Fast Signs man of the match?
Jared
Is it an
O'Connor,
easy one?
friend of the pod.
Jock.
Yeah, he, as we said earlier on, he does whatever he's asked of. Whatever you ask
Does
him,
whatever he's
he'll do it.
asked. Really good player, really good looking, bursting with charisma.
Jared, I think he's trying to get you back on pod.
Yes.
I was torn between Momorowski and O'Connor.
So where are you going?
O'Connor.
Jared,
Shaded it.
It's a clean sweep. Jared O'Connor is officially the Fast Signs player of
So
the
he's
match.
got to do it for the next 4 to get to 5. How many did Frawley get?
No, Frawley got 4.
Frawley got
That's
4.
what I mean. So next 4 games, Jared, up
Jared,
your game.
you got 3 more games.
Up your game.
Fast Signs man of the match, and then you'll be the history maker. But currently, it's Fast Signs
This is the
Frawley.
most prestigious award in rugby
Well,
league.
I
It is.
think so.
They're in. It's that prestigious. We can't get an award.
Can't get one made.
Can't get one
Because it's
made.
that prestigious.
There's no trophy accolade company in the world.
It's just a title you hold for a season.
Yeah. Might have to ask like the king, hand it out like an MBE.
Yeah. I think it's worth it.
I'll draft the
Charlie,
email.
speak to Charlie.
I'll speak to Charlie.
Dear
Draft
Charles.
the email. And Fast Signs Matt Frawley. I think we have to christen it that for next year.
It is, yeah.
I think next year it has to be the Fast Signs Frawley Player of the Match award.
Yeah.
Until
somebody beats it.
do you think? I don't think I'll ever be beaten. 4 in a row. Do you know how hard that is?
Matt of the Match award.
There we go. I don't think I'll ever be beaten. I'm being genuinely. You can come back on. Anything else before we wrap this up?
Don't think so.
No? All good?
Don't think. What have we got next?
Catalans,
Catalans.
Friday.
Friday
Catalans.
games, yeah.
Friday night.
That's a rant for me. Can we have more Friday games, please?
Yeah, more Friday
We
games.
haven't had a Friday game since
Saturday afternoons, aren't they?
June.
June. Wow, you have had a lot of Saturday afternoons, haven't we? And
Which
what's this week?
one-offs, fine. It spoils my routine on a weekend.
I do prefer Friday nights.
Always gardening and car waxing done.
Exactly.
Thanks to Phil, thanks to Chris, thanks to you lot for watching, thanks to everybody for listening. Please do subscribe to us on YouTube as we crawl our way up to 1,000 subscribers. Tell all your friends and family all to subscribe. Tell them all to create burner accounts and then they can subscribe. People think I'm joking. I'm not. We don't care. Just create the accounts and subscribe. Thanks to those people that already do. Thanks to everyone that listens to us on Spotify and iTunes. We are back on iTunes. Please do leave us a review and a 5-star rating on Spotify as well, if you think we're worth it, which we definitely are. I think you'll agree. If you enjoy what we do here at the Lot Pod as well, please do also consider subscribing to our Patreon page. Subs are available from £1, £3, £5 a month, or you can chuck in a one-off donation. All of our content will never ever be behind a paywall. It's just to help us improve with the mics, with the studio, and improve the content that we create. We've been missing out weekly roundups because we're so busy.
It's been hard, hasn't it, to fit
It's
them
been
in?
really difficult, so we do apologise that we just haven't had the time to do the weekly roundups, even though I've been promising them on the match reviews. And people are like, where's the fucking weekly roundup? So we don't know if we're going to have one or not, but
Yeah, it's just difficult, isn't it?
it's
During
just,
week, it's hard, isn't it?
School holidays.
Yeah, it's nuts. But so we might see you on the weekly roundup. Take care, everyone. Thanks for listening.